listening to the Bluejay Breakdown.
Everyone, welcome in to another edition of Bluejay Breakdown. Jacob Padilla and Mike Sautter here to talk about the men's basketball side of Creighton. And, well, they just had one game last week, and it was the pink out, and it was kind of how we expected.
Second half, certainly. Well, not a ton to touch on with the actual basketball. They kind of messed around a little bit in the first half. DePaul opened the second half with a dunk to make it a 1-point game.
That would have been something.
And then from there, Creighton went on a 26-4 run with Trey Alexander or Stephen Ashworth combining for the first 19 points of that run and stretch it from 1 to 23, and then it was ball game at that point. Ended up winning by 23. Alexander, spectacular.
Everybody played.
Ryan Kalkbrenner got going. Stephen Ashworth hit 5 threes, which is huge. Like we talked about, his kind of all-around game settling into place. We were just waiting on the shot to start falling.
He's playing better.
Shots fell at 5 and 9 in that one with 3 assists. So just a lot of contributions. Baylor and Baylor Shireman, Ryan Kalkbrenner both had double-doubles. So on the court, they weren't sharp in the first half, defensively in particular, and allowed DePaul to hang around. But once they locked back in, they took care of business and got some bench minutes out there. Nobody played more than 33 minutes, which is still probably a little higher than you would have hoped going into it. But after going from 55 to 40, I think 33 minutes for Baylor Shireman probably much more manageable. Yeah,
feels like a little break.
Yeah, no kidding. So that was the game itself. Not a whole lot. Like Creighton's sitting there at 15 in Ken Palm.
Hey, DePaul had more bench points though.
That'll be the case
17 to 7.
Everybody they play pretty much. But
yeah.
Especially because like they bring their leading scorer off the bench now,
right.
Although he didn't have a good game. But DePaul is certainly different under their new interim coach Matt Brady. They actually put in some effort in transition defense.
Oh, wow.
Got back and matched up a little bit better than certainly they did in Chicago. But yeah, DePaul is going to have a tough time winning a game in the league, certainly on the road. But the kind of more important than the basketball itself was Creighton's annual pink out. And
sold out.
Yep. Creighton, they put out the kind of revised total for the money they've raised today as part of the auction and donations at the arena and everything. $108,122.
That's good.
Raised for Hope Lodge, for cancer, cancer awareness, cancer treatment, research, and all that type of stuff. So just phenomenal. I mean, the kind of the stand up to cancer moment at the under 8 timeout. Just everybody on their feet, showing up signs with the names of people impacted by the fight with cancer. In their lives, Rachel Platten fight song, singing out. It's one of the coolest kind of traditions in sports right now, the way that they handle this and what it's grown into over the years. Greg McDermott started it when he got to Omaha, and like he said, he credited for the administration, the community, for everybody kind of taking the idea and running with it and helping grow it into what it is today. So really cool, obviously. The players, coaches kind of talked about Stephen Ashworth. So part of it, people can bid for their jerseys, for the shooting shirts, to put the names of their loved ones that are fighting or have fought with cancer on the shirts. And it was pretty cool. Stephen Ashworth's family actually won his jersey, the bid for his jersey, and his sister-in-law, Erin Ashworth, was on his jersey.
Oh, nice.
So it was pretty cool just kind of seeing all the different people. And then shout out to Sherry French and organizing a group to win Sterling Knox's jersey in honor of Brad Feakin. Obviously, the Gretna coach that just passed recently. That was pretty cool as well. So just things like the pink out, the opportunity to tell so many stories. All the players met with the families that won their auctions afterward to hear their stories, to hear about the people that whose names were on their shirts. Sign autographs, take pictures with kids. It was just kind of a really cool scene out there on the court after the game. And so that was again, they got the win, and they were able to raise a ton of money for a really good cause and create memories for a lot of people. So yeah, it's another successful pink out on the books there. For Creighton, who is now sitting alone at second place in Big East play at 7-3 through the halfway mark, half a game ahead of Marquette at this point, and 2 games in the loss column behind Connecticut. So we talked about in the non-conference, UConn, Creighton, Marquette were the 3 teams that were kind of carrying the Big East through the non-conference. Early on, they all had some setbacks, but since then they've kind of righted the ship, and here we are again with those are the top 3 teams in the league. Creighton's up to 13 in the latest AP poll, and they're kind of hitting their stride a little bit. Offense is starting to get a little bit more well-rounded. Defense remains strong. They're 15th in adjusted defensive efficiency, 39th in offense, so they still have some work to do to hit that 25-25 kind of threshold that most championship teams qualify for. But a big key to these last few games here has been Trey Alexander.
Yep.
And he named Big East Player of the Week on Monday, named to the midseason Jerry West Award watch list, the top 10. The award will go to the best shooting guard in college basketball at the end of the season. Qualified for that on Tuesday. So he's been phenomenal since conference play started.
At the beginning of conference, he's been really, really good.
He had the 2-game kind of
you called
dip.
him the player of the year in the conference, like after the
4
third
games.
game.
Yeah. Right there, he was looking like it. And then the thing is, so he had the 2-game dip against St. John's and UConn, where struggled, couldn't make a shot. And since then, the last 3 is averaging 24.5 points a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And I went through and put together a breakdown. You can go check out the Bluejay breakdown page on hurrdatsports.com, just kind of showing how he's done it over the last 3, highlighting most of his buckets, the way he's using the pick and roll to create plays for himself and others, the mid-range proficiency. He's one of the best mid-range shooters. He's shooting a higher percentage on mid-range jumpers than he is on layups.
Turnaround fadeaway jumper. That thing goes in all the time.
He's shooting 52.3% on off-the-dribble 2-point shots, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's better than Devin Booker in the NBA, who's considered maybe the best mid-range shooter in the best league in the world, and he's shooting a higher percentage than that guy right now. He's actually shooting a higher percentage on mid-range jumpers than he is on layups, which just kind of shows, kind of illustrates the player he is. Like it's phenomenal, kind of what he's become with that shot. And that's a huge part of Creighton's offense. So just kind of go check out, like I said, hurrdatsports.com to see more about the season that Trey Alexander is having. He is leading the team in scoring in conference play, passing up Baylor Shireman. But you look at it season long now, you got Shireman at 17.8 points. You got Alexander at 17 points. You got Ryan Kalkbrenner at 16.6 points. There aren't many teams that have a better 3-man trio than those 3 right now. And the way that they've been playing recently, keeping all 3 of them involved, all guys kind of stuff in the stat sheet, making plays in different ways. This is kind of what we thought Creighton could be, especially with Ashworth kind of settling in. He's up to 9.2 points a game. Jumped back up to 34.2% from 3 after that last game.
Double figures, then it's now you have 4, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah, so that's been huge, and he is at 10 points a game in conference play.
Right.
And 4.5 assists, just 1.2 turnovers. So, Creighton's they're in a good spot right now, and now preparing
only
for
1 game this week.
Yep.
Yeah, so a nice little break, which is actually probably much needed at this point.
And that's what they talked about after the game too.
Off.
Yeah, Max said giving him a couple days off, and Trey said, be good mentally, just kind of have a couple days just to forget about the basketball, just be able to do the student part of student athlete, just kind of live your normal life for a couple of days. Obviously, they're still getting in there, getting shots up, whatever. They're going to remain kind of sharp in that regard because these guys are all hoopers.
Yeah,
but
coming down the stretch, it gets a little tough.
Yeah. So, yeah, huge break, and they were able to get the win they needed to, get off their feet, recharge, and now they're gearing up to prepare for Butler, who is coming to town on Friday. And
Butler's won 3 in a row.
Yeah. And they're 54 in
Okay,
KenPom.
DePaul, Georgetown, and Villanova.
Yeah.
But still.
And double overtime against Villanova.
Yeah.
And obviously Villanova's struggling a little bit, but they've got some pieces there. That team does. So, Butler, they don't do anything super well, but they're just tough. And they've got Trey Alexander, the transfer from St. John's, who really physical defender at the point of attack. Yep. They've kind of Jamil Telfort, Pierre Brooks. They're big, beefy wings that kind of big bodies that'll physically test Sharman and Mason Miller and those guys a little bit.
Maybe throw Greg Oden out there. Maybe he could stop. You think he could stop Kalkbrenner?
Not at this point.
Probably not.
Yeah, no.
I remember watching him in college. I was like, oh, man, this dude is so good.
Yeah, I'm glad that he was able to kind of get in the coaching world, considering the way his career went. But Butler's sitting there at 14-7. They're 5-5 in league play. So it's a team that Creighton is going to have to execute against. Like you're not going to be able to walk over them. You can't have a half like they did against DePaul, where you just kind of let them do what they want and then just flip the switch and turn it on. Creighton's going to have to go out and play well. But if they do, then this is a game that Creighton should win. And like I said, there's not any particular area that DePaul is going to test them. They just kind of do a lot of things well enough to be competitive games. So it'll be a game where, again, Creighton just continue to build, continue to keep the offense balanced, continue to get guys good shots, hopefully build up some confidence for some of those guys, and take care of business at home before you hit the road again. Yeah. That's right. After a 3-game homestand, their next 2 will be on the road at Providence and at Xavier. And those are 2 teams that Creighton really had to battle to pull out wins at home. So this game will be big for them. Just continue, move forward, progress, build on what they've accomplished to this point. Because it's you're going to need some help against UConn, obviously, but they're still, with their recent wins, they're firmly in the conference title race. Yep. Good seeding race. They're climbing up to a 3 seed in kind of the bracket projections if they continue to win at this rate. So Creighton's in a pretty good spot right now. They just have to continue to play well.
Yeah, moving in the right direction, I think would be the term, right? Yeah. Or no?
Yeah. Like I said, just progressing, building, stacking wins on top of wins, continue to get better as a team, and so that you're playing your best ball once you hit the postseason. Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for Bluejay Breakdown on the men's basketball side of things. We will chat with you next week.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.